it says that he whose mind, together with the other senses, is merged in the interior space of the heart, who has entered mentally into the center of the two bowls of the heart lotus, who has excluded everything else from consciousness, acquires the highest fortune, O beautiful one. So here's talking about the process of withdrawing the senses. Pratyahara is what they call it in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Withdrawing the senses from the world, withdrawing the mind from anything exterior related, and bringing it to the heart. In this case, the heart doesn't necessarily mean the physical heart, but meaning the core, the hub of our own being. And so that the mind, the senses, every particle of our being is focused inward to the source of our being. So let's try that practice. I'm going to invite you to turn within. Bring your awareness to a central point. You could think of it as the heart. We have a physical heart. We have a subtle heart called the Anahata chakra. In the subtle body, there's a sacred center, a chakra, which is the source of our feelings. So bring your awareness there with the understanding that there's a hridaya, there's something deeper than the Anahata chakra, is the core, the portal, as it were, into universal consciousness. Is sometimes referred to as hridaya or rit. So it's the very core, the center of our being. If we think about this core as being the center, and then the causal body being the next level, more exterior, the subtle body being more exterior than that, and the physical body being simply the exterior expression of that. So let me guide you through this process. So we withdraw our senses and our mind from the exterior world. We center them on the heart. You can use the breath to help you focus there, watching the breath coming in. Imagine that you're breathing into the heart and recognizing that there's an energy mechanism within the heart within the heart, the Anahata chakra, which is the source of all of our core heart feelings. This is where we express ourselves as love, as compassion, as kindness. Turning inward even more deeply, we come to a place of pure awareness, hridaya, the core. Letting everything else fall away, we rest in the heart. So this practice can be done for just a couple of minutes, or it can be used as a core meditation for up to an hour daily. O Bhairavi, by perfect recitation of pranava, or the sacred syllable Om, and by contemplating over the void at the end of the protracted phase of it, and by the most eminent energy of the void, the yogi attains the void. So this is talking about the pranava being Om. The sacred syllable Om has 4 parts. A, U, and then part of the mantra is the silence that follows the repetition of it. So it's often pronounced Om. It's actually Aum, A, U, Ma, and then the importance of the silence that follows it. So A represents the physical body, U represents the subtle body, the causal body, and repeating those lifts the awareness into the place of pure consciousness, into the silence, space of the void. So when we chant the mantra, we can chant it out loud, we can repeat it silently. You may have an experience of the energy rising, beginning at the base of the spine, rising to the level of the heart, resonating in the head and the third eye. And this directed movement of energy rising from the base of the spine brings us to the space of complete silence, of stillness. So let's practice repeating that quietly to ourselves. Do a mental repetition of it. Make sure that you leave the silence at the end. The silence will take us into the void, the space of no thought. Think of it as leading us very naturally to the causal body, the space that we enter when we're in sleep. And then through constant practice of meditation, we're able to pierce through the veil of illusion, pierce through what we call the five contractions, the five kanchukas, and take us directly to the experience of consciousness itself. So turning within and beginning the repetition of the mantra. You can repeat it silently to yourself, or you can repeat it out loud. You can even chant it. So this next dharana is verse 60. It's dharana number 37. One should cast his gaze on a region in which there are no trees from the viewpoint of a mountain or a high defensive wall. Let the mental state rest there without any support. The mind will then dissolve and the fluctuation of the minds will cease. So go to a hilltop, a place where there's an unobstructed view, hopefully an infinite view where there's no form, no limitations, and gaze on that empty space. You might look into a well, for example. There's no form there, where it's either darkened, you can go into the void, or on the top of a mountain, allowing your awareness to expand, the top of a wall. Pick a spot where there's no trees, no houses, just infinite, and allow your mind to expand to fill that. You see, there's a principle in perception that the mind takes the form of the object perceived. So if I'm looking at a book, or I'm looking at my hand, or I'm looking at the wall, the mind takes the form of that. Here the idea is that there's no form to perceive. There's just simply infinite space. So if I project my mind into that infinite space, my mind itself becomes either void or it becomes infinite. So try this one on your own. Choose a space where there's no objects for your mind to attach to and contract and take the form of. Find a space that's wide open into the night sky, from a mountaintop, from the top of a wall, and allow your mind to expand into infinity.
This dharma can be practiced in the desert also.
This would also be a lovely practice to do in the desert. In the desert, the ocean, the night sky, wherever it is that you feel that you could just allow your your consciousness to expand without limit. And you can do that contemplation. I am without limit. I am beyond time. I'm beyond space. I'm in fact infinite, universal consciousness. My mind is free to roam anywhere in the universe. On the occasion of a great delight being obtained, or on the occasion of delight arising from seeing a friend or relative after a long time, one should meditate on the delight itself and become absorbed in it. Then his mind will become identified with it. So you know the feeling you have when you see your loved one you haven't seen in a long time. Maybe it's a dear friend or a relative. There's a kind of spontaneous joy that arises. And we become filled with that love, with that delight, that ecstasy that just happens to arise spontaneously. The yogic practice here is to go within and to experience directly the feeling itself. The tendency is when we see an old friend, we want to start conversations. Oh, hi, how are you? I haven't seen you in so long. But when the next time that happens, I would encourage you to stay with the feeling itself. There is a core heart feeling that's been triggered, that's pure, that comes straight from the self. This is an experience of Ananda. So when the next time that happens, go within and meditate on the feeling. See how deeply you can feel it. See how long you can stay with that feeling. And in the process, you may come in direct contact with the source of that feeling. If you look at the experience, somehow in a moment, you see an old friend, the mind is quiet, it's content, it's satisfied, and it somehow triggers an explosion of feeling in the heart, which expresses itself. Meditation teaches us to go directly to the source, to the hridaya, the core, where all these feelings of delight and love and joy and compassion arise. So the next time you see a friend, an old friend, and that feeling arises, close your eyes and meditate on the feeling and see if you can discover where the delight is arising from. Once you discover that, you'll have access to unlimited joy at your choosing at any time. This is the promise of this practice. So Dharana number 49, which is verse number 72, says that when one experiences the expansion of joy, of savor, of taste, arising from the pleasure of eating and drinking, one should meditate on the perfect condition of this joy, then there will be supreme delight. This is something that can be practiced several times a day. Every time we eat, we recognize this is an opportunity to know the self. This is the true Tantra. Taking a bite of food and really tasting the savor of it, being fully present. How many of us sit down to eat and we're reading in one hand and we're listening and we're answering Facebook messages and we're chewing our food unconsciously? If we can stop all of that and repurpose our life, repurpose the senses. The senses, you know, when we're living a life in illusion, the senses just kind of go out and they're free rein. They just bring us information that confirms that we're lacking, that we need. No, senses can be repurposed to reveal the self. The senses no longer have to create the experience of separation, which causes pain, but the senses now can be the servants of the mind. They can go out and find things that will bring us joy and pleasure if we will simply see them as divine energies. The senses are, you could think of as goddesses. And we want to please the senses. We want to show the eyes beautiful things, beautiful sunsets and the passing of the Ganga and flowers and artwork, and please the eyes, please the ears, listen to beautiful music and listen to the birds singing in the morning, listen to the sound of the Ganga murmuring, delight the senses. There's nothing sinful or wrong about the senses. They're meant to give us delight, properly understood. So this requires us to slow down a little bit. When we're eating, we eat, nothing else. Just enjoy the savor of the food. Eat slowly. Take a bite. Really taste it. Food is delicious. If we eat it consciously and mindfully, you can take a bite of something that you really enjoy. Close your eyes and see if you can discover the source of that delight. And this dharana says, see if you can experience the perfect condition of that light, that delight. So as you feel the joy arising, allow the feeling to expand and to fill and consume your entire body, to fill it with the joy and the savor of food. And you can do this with each of the five senses. What can you see today that's beautiful, that will give you a sense of awe, that will evoke that feeling of beauty, taste, hearing, smelling, enjoying the soft touch. So spend some time today enjoying the senses, being fully present with them, not in a self-indulgent way, but as worship. The senses are goddesses, meant to be pleased, and by pleasing them, you'll please your own inner self. So the next dharana is number 50, and it's verse number 73. So when the yogi mentally becomes one with the incomparable song of joy and other objects, then of such a yogi there is, because of the expansion of his mind, identity with that. And he becomes one with that, the incomparable joy of music. Most of us enjoy music, don't we? Whatever type of music it is. Listen to the music, close your eyes, and allow the joy of that music to expand. So do it consciously, and you'll find that it's very different than just listening to music while you're doing something else. Become absorbed in your favorite piece of music. Sometimes when I'm at home, or sometimes when I'm sad. I know when I lost my mother passed away, and I was really hurting because I loved her deeply. I put on my favorite piece of sad music and allowed myself to just weep. It was tremendously healing. I was aware of the inner feelings, and the music helped to release any pent-up emotions I might have been blocking. So consciously listen to music. Intentionally listen to the type of music that gives you joy. Allow yourself to become completely absorbed in it. In other words, use music as your object of meditation. One-pointed awareness. Put your headsets on, listen to the sound, listen to the beat, listen to all the different instruments, listen to the harmonies, and you'll be amazed at what arises within you. Then follow that delight, the joy, the incomparable joy of music, follow it back to its source. And this goes for any type of music that you like. So find something that gives you delight, listen to the music, use that as your object of meditation, and allow it to take you to the source of your own joy. So now let's do dharana number 51, This is verse 74. Wherever the mind of the individual finds satisfaction, that is without agitation, let it be concentrated on that. In every such case, the true nature of the highest bliss will manifest itself.
Swamiji, what is the number of this dharana?
This is dharana number 51, verse number 74. Wherever the mind of the individual finds satisfaction, let it be concentrated on that. In every such case, the true nature of the highest bliss will manifest itself. You know, before I go to sleep at night, I review my day. And I recall to mind those moments that gave me great satisfaction, that gave me joy. And I allow those feelings to expand. Certain things in my life have repeated themselves over and over again. For example, I fondly remember the greatest moment in sports. I was an athlete as a kid, and when we won the championship, or I pitched a no-hit game, or I scored a touchdown, I like to consciously and intentionally recall those moments of ecstasy and savor those moments. So where is it that you find satisfaction? Where do you find delight? What do you really enjoy? What are your peak experiences? What do you appreciate? What do you love? This meditation says, focus on that. Bring your awareness to wherever you find satisfaction, wherever you find contentment. Old memories, old samskaras can be called forth and used as an object of meditation. So let's take a moment now. Think about something that really gives you satisfaction. Maybe a hobby, maybe a place that you like to go. It might be a pet, a friend. What is it that gives you satisfaction? Do you have something? Now the practice is to meditate on that, to hold in your awareness that which gives you satisfaction. Hold it in your heart. Make the memory crystal clear. Give thanks for it. Appreciate it. Allow the feeling to arise. Maybe something that you're grateful for, something in your life that truly gives you satisfaction. Hold that in your awareness, and let's go into meditation together. Holding that for which you have great satisfaction, holding it in your awareness. Allow the feeling to begin to expand. It may be joy, it may be appreciation or gratitude, even love, someone that you love. I have a little pet dog that I named Mutsky that I just adore. And all I have to do is see her cute little face, and I go into ecstasy. You may have such a pet or a garden, something that gives you satisfaction. Allow the feelings to expand. Imagine that the heart is like a fountain, overflowing with the joy of satisfaction. Allow it to fill your whole body, to extend beyond the body. And once you've fully felt this joy, this satisfaction, just rest in silence for as long as you like.